peace agreement, pre-signed in Washington, ushers in hope of stability for the South Caucasus. And while the ink dries on the document, questions arise about the extra tools of security that didn't make it to the document. EUMA is among them. What will the fate of this tool be? Mr. Ritter, EUMA is an important tool in providing for Armenia's security, but as you know, the EUMA's withdrawal is one of the preconditions for the signing of the peace treaty. Is there a way of revisiting the mission and the functionale of the mission rather than withdrawing it?
To be honest, it's a condition after the ratification of the signing of the peace treaty. So at the moment, we are still continuing as if nothing has happened. Even the Americans, our partners, they approached us to continue with the patrols. So we are continuing with our work. We are on a daily basis out at the border. And then one day when the peace treaty will be signed and ratified, Armenia has to negotiate with the member states of the European Union, with Brussels, what should be the next mandate or how should the mission continue its work. But at the moment, everything stays as it is.
You've been attending a conference on comprehensive security and resilience. The formula that has been offered, or the elements of security, what did you make of it? Is this what works for a small nation like Armenia?
I was very impressed when the Prime Minister today said that the military should not be on the first, but somewhere in the rear there should be other tools for security first. You know, we are on a civilian unarmed mission and we are bringing some security to Armenia, even though we are not a military, we have no arms and we will not fight. So I think it's a good opportunity to discuss all the other options that Armenia has to find a secure place in the world. Yes.
Thank you. The security formula is being recalculated to reflect the new, more stable realities, although premature optimism could be equally misleading. Excellency, you've been co-hosting the conference on security and resilience. What, to your mind, constitutes the best formula of security for Armenia?
Well, I think that Armenia is a small country, just like Finland is a small country. I think that the cooperation, coordination and collaboration with all parties that are engaged or interested in security is the main thing for any small country, also with limited resources. And this means inter-institutional dialogue within the public sector, and it also means engaging public-private partnership, you know, the business environment, business circles, as well as definitely the civil society organizations, because for comprehensive security you need to have comprehensive approach. Quite logical, actually.
Would you say that the government is moving in the right direction?
Well, the government is, of course, this is a new thing for many governments, not only in Armenia, also in Europe, within the EU, within the NATO. The security dialogue with the comprehensive new, emerging and existing security threats is a challenge. We just heard that the national strategy is being written. That's very important. But I think that the one problem or challenge that many governments share is the fact that the siloed thinking is there, and it's kind of a traditional thinking that I have my business and you mind yours. But in this comprehensive security, there are no your things or my things. They are all our problems and our solutions. And if the government takes this angle, also operationally, I think that Armenia can greatly benefit from this thinking.
Our security needs are quite urgent. Would you say we're on time? What's your evaluation of the tempo of moving forward with things? And question number 2 and the last one. Considering that we are working with a peace process, we have a peace agreement with Azerbaijan pre-signed, how relevant is enhancing resilience in general?
Well, first of all, we are always late for comprehensive security in particular, because the adversaries who want to harm us, they are kind of always one step ahead. But the fact that it has been kind of acknowledged is a big step forward. And when you start analyzing, or when one starts analyzing your society and its vulnerabilities, then that gives you the head start, maybe in some fields. Peace is a prerequisite for any kind of comprehensive security approach, because peace, or lack of it, focuses mainly on the military security. And now we are talking about the resilience of the whole of society. I think that the agreements signed in Washington are a very, very good start, but they need to be institutionalized, just like the Prime Minister said, and the institutions around them also require the elements of which I mentioned. They also require interinstitutional agency. It requires the civil society to turn a new page. It also requires the business circles, economic circles, to turn a new page. And nobody should expect this to happen fast. It might take even a generation. But to start, you always need to have somebody who is motivating these entities to begin the dialogue. It's a very, very, has a stony road, but even baby steps will take further towards the goal.
Would you say that a resilient society, a resilient country, is actually part of peace?
Absolutely, because it also gives people, the citizens, a feeling of security, a feeling of being able to contribute to peace, one, and then enjoy the feeling of security that the statehood and the state provides, which is kind of the first duty and obligation that any state has for its citizens. But not only military security. Actually, if you have natural catastrophes, if you have power cuts, if you have cyber problems with your banking system, or your insurance policies, or even the traffic lights if you go crazy in Yerevan, that would already be something that resilience could fight against. So this is really, really multi-layered. You have the state level piece on top, and then you have like a million layers of other elements that actually give the citizens the feeling of trust to the system, trust to government, trust to local authorities or entities where they function, and to each other eventually. Because that is something that psychological resilience is very important part of security. If you think of Ukraine, for instance, the psychological resilience of the Ukrainian people has
what keeps them fighting.
That's what keeps them fighting, not the foreign military support, not presidents.
Well, it's a combination, I would say.
It's a combination, and they also kind of motivate each other. If the people's psychological resilience was weaker, perhaps then also the desire of us, also Finland, to support them could be lower or questioned.
Thank you, Excellency.
Thank you very much.
There's clearly willingness to contribute to Armenia's resilience among Western partners, but resilience is a newborn baby. Have the country's needs been assessed? Are those needs being addressed? The government has been signing, the joke goes, a strategic partnership every 2 days. What are the practical, tangible results though? Are they on the way? Armenia has recently signed a number of strategic partnerships in very different directions. The Armenian parliament passed a bill bidding for European membership candidacy, but we are also applying for SCO membership. How do these separate directions and their interests confluence?
First of all, not all the aspects of partnership with this or that union are mutually exclusive. Wherever we reach the point where this or that aspect of a partnership or a membership to this or that union are mutually exclusive, we should make a choice. I don't know, fortunately or unfortunately, we are not yet there to make these kind of choices. For example, if we take customs union. We talk about Eurasian Economic Union, which is a customs union itself. And as you rightly mentioned, we have adopted a law which obliges us to start a process of EU membership. What does it mean? It means that when the day comes and when Armenia becomes an EU member or a candidate state or even intends to sign deep and comprehensive free trade area agreement, which will lift certain customs from certain goods, then we should make a choice and leave Eurasian Economic Union when we are there. But we're not there yet. And when it comes to Shanghai Cooperation Organization, that one is not even customs union, but here we talk more about narratives, political rhetoric. Some argue, some experts and politicians say that this organization was created in order to make a geopolitical opposition to European Union or to Western organizations. But all these assessments are vague, meaning that they might vary from time to time. So it's not a physics or chemistry when you when it's fixed at a certain point. Politics changes, geopolitics as well, and yes, we have decided to apply for the Shanghai for the membership of this Shanghai Cooperation Organization. We were not we and Armenia and Azerbaijan, we both applied, and we were not.
And both
we were not admitted for the time being. But again, we also closely cooperate with the European Union. Our trade with the European Union increased. So from 6.5% for the 7 months of the 2024. This year, for the first 7 months, it reaches already 12.2%. Its share is 12.2% from inside our trade balance. So we work with all partners. Armenia is, for ages, Armenia was called a crossroad of civilizations, and now we have a project of crossroads of peace, which means that we try somehow to become a country where the interests somehow do not cross out each other, but rather they go hand in hand with each other wherever it's possible.
They merge.
And wherever it is not possible, they just go parallel to each other. They confluence with each other. So this is our aim. We should admit that it will be very difficult for us to make some confrontational choices. That's why we try to balance our foreign policy choices, and so far, I should say that we succeeded.
There was a lot of skepticism after the peace agreement was pre-signed with Azerbaijan, that Azerbaijan might step back. Now we see that the US administration has allotted $145 million for the trip. Would you say that the peace agreement, even though only pre-signed, has entered the implementation stage? Do you see any risks that the process might still fall through?
Implementation of peace agreements, be them signed or pre-signed or agreed upon, their implementation depends on not only signatures, but the political situation on the ground. And this is one of the reasons that even pre-signed, as you said, and as the fact is, we see now modestly positive, steps towards the peace that we are now trying to build. And what is important when building a peace is a balance. Not only signed papers, the papers are very important and vital, but behind the papers there should be a balance balance of interests, balance of cooperation, balance of interdependence from each other and from bigger political and geopolitical actors. And this is what we tried to reach on August 8th. This is the most important part, when we tried to bring together, you know, the red lines of all parties, and so that they do not cross out each other, as I said, but rather they went parallel to each other. And I think preliminarily I can say that we succeeded so far, but it's something that needs to be taken care of, and we are working.
The European Union is looking to connect Central Asia to European markets, and they have come up with the Middle Corridor project. The president of the European Commission once suggested in April that Armenia becomes a part of it, but Aliyev was against this then. What's the situation like now, after the pre-signature? Do we stand a chance to become a part of the Middle Corridor?
Well, Armenia is the part of the Middle Corridor, not because someone wants that or someone is against that, but because the very notion of Middle Corridor, what does it mean? There is a northern corridor, so to say, running through Russia. There is a southern sea route running through Red Sea, Suez Channel, Mediterranean, etc. And in between them, why it's called Middle Corridor? Because it is in between of the southern and northern routes, is a middle corridor running through Southern Caucasus. So it's not one road, one piece of asphalt, but it is rather
infrastructure through Georgia and Azerbaijan. But Armenia, are we left out or are we in the project?
As I said, Middle Corridor is not a piece of infrastructure. A Middle Corridor is a region where infrastructure runs through, and nobody says that Middle Corridor is exclusively about these two countries. Armenia is also here. Armenia is also in between, as I said, as the concept says, of these two routes, the northern and the southern. As for infrastructure, it is now being made. So when the infrastructure is made, the roads or any other pieces of infrastructure that run through Armenia, of course, should be called a part of Middle.
No external obstacles now?
For what?
For becoming part of the Middle Corridor.
The Middle Corridor is a political narrative. So it's not some kind of an entity.
The infrastructure.
It's like a Silk Road, you know? There were so many Silk Roads. What was called the Silk Road in Middle Ages. A route from China to Europe. It was not one piece of land, one just piece of road. It was about the direction that, you know, that the route that was coming from China through Middle Asia, then to northern Iran, and then via Anatolia to Europe. So the same is here. Compare it to Silk Road. When politicians and analysts say Middle Corridor, it's about the wide geographical region, which includes, of course, Armenia. Why? Because the possible road or route from east to the west possibly can run, and most probably will run, also, among others, through Armenia.
So there's an agreement on this?
Yes, signed in Washington.
Thank you.
Not with reference to Middle Corridor, but this is what I'm saying now. Yes, of course.
Thank you. Connectivity is the meat of the agreement. If the region is included in big infrastructure projects, violating peace will become very, very unprofitable for all sides.